I've spent countless hours studying the housing crisis, from city reports to expert panels to boots on the ground as a realtor. And over again, I hear the same surface level solutions, from raising the wages to building more housing to lowering interest rates. But here's the truth: builders are simply building luxury units and not more affordable units. Interest rates are temporary, and higher wages simply, most of the time, they just mean higher prices. None of that solves the core problem. So I asked the deeper questions. What if we could unlock homes that already exist and redirect the benefits to real families and not investors, right? Right now in Santa Ana and many places as well, but specifically today we're going over Santa Ana because that's where I'm from and that's where we're going to start. Sellers alike are stuck because they don't want to lose that Proposition 13 tax base. And while people sit on the sidelines, big investors are buying up homes and turning them into rentals. Stability is vanishing, and with it, health, opportunity, and community. Now, let's put a name to it. For now, we'll call it the Santa Ana Housing Fairness Act. It's really built on a simple idea. If you sell your primary residence to a first-time home buyer and you've lived there for at least 5 years, you can take your tax base with you. And what about the buyer? They get to inherit that low tax rate base as well. We're creating a win-win where homeowners can move without being penalized. And first-time buyers get a shot at savings and stability, and we prioritize real families, not hedge funds. Now let's go over a real example on how this actually could play out, and it'll save a lot of money for not only the seller, but for that first-time home buyer. Let's say you're paying taxes on a $300,000 assessment. Your home is now worth $700,000. If you sell to a qualified first-time buyer, you can move and keep your low tax base. And the buyer pays taxes on $300,000 too, not $700,000. That's a savings of about $4,800 a year immediately. Now here's where it gets powerful. Look at this chart. Just 1,000 homes using this program could generate $20 million in economic activity. That's movers, contractors, materials, buying furniture, real jobs, and money flowing through Santa Ana. And that increase in inventory, it makes a difference. Just a 3% increase in available homes could cool prices by up to 5%. And that's a correction, breathing room, and that's what we need. Now, if you're worried about lost revenue, let's take a look at this chart. Some say this will hurt the city budgets, but here's the truth. It's not lost revenue, it's redirected revenue. Take a look. The chart shows how initial tax breaks are offset by boosted economic activity and community reinvestment. That's smart policy, that's sustainable funding. I've thought about every angle that I could think of for legal compliance with Prop 13, buyer verification, and even pushback from institutional investors. That's why I've included the safeguards like limiting the benefit to primary residents and building in a revenue offset clause. But this isn't just about economics, it's about health. Families in stable housing experience fewer ER visits, better mental health, and less stress. This chart shows it clearly. A stable home environment improves quality of life by 20 to 30% in key areas. That's powerful. Now, I say all this and I'm proposing this, and you might be asking, why the city of Santa Ana? Well, not only do I work there, not only was I born there, but I grew up there and I got to experience firsthand the displacement, the poverty, the gentrification, the feeling of not being able to pay your rent on time, the feeling of not being able to afford a home. I got to experience all that. Now, if I could share something with you that might be a little bit too personal, but I'm going to share it anyways because I believe that transparency is key. And if my experience could shed light on what's going on in not just the city of Santa Ana, but throughout the US and many other places as well, then so be it. But growing up here in Santa Ana, we grew up in poverty. We grew up on food stamps. We grew up in Section 8. There was many programs where I was in foster care and we were moving from home to home. I went to about 8 different high schools. 4 of them were here in the city of Santa Ana, and the other ones were in Orange and in Riverside. And honestly, I can't even remember how many times our family moved from house to apartment. I can't remember how many times we moved, but it was so many times. So if I had a house where we had the stability and just the comfort of coming to a place and going to one high school, I think things would have been a lot different. I'm still grateful that I went through that, But if we could change that somehow through this act, through this proposition, I'm not even sure if it's going to go all the way there, but at least I'm bringing some sort of awareness, some sort of solution, I think. Now that you've heard this act, this proposition, however you want to call it, I really don't think that it's just going to benefit the seller and the first-time home buyer. I really believe that it'll impact the community, if not the whole country as a whole. Because if you think about it, just like myself, I was a kid going from different houses all the time. I can't even count, like I said, how many times we moved. That really affected my mental health. Thankfully, I've been able to grow from that. But if you could just really think about how it affects those children now or in the future, and how it's going to help them, and how it's going to decrease homelessness, it's going to decrease mental health problems. All right, so if it isn't already obvious, I'm not a doctor, nor am I a lawyer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cite the sources. They were already sorted on the charts that I presented, but that way you can look at it. That way you could do your own research and come up with a conclusion as to is this even something that's viable? But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Let me know if there's a different angle from maybe I didn't think about it. Anyways, thank you for listening and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Let's go.